Hello there guys, so today I am taking a look at this Cudy or Cudy, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but this Cudy AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 router, the WR3000E. Now, it's just arrived and I've bought this thing because I'm using a standard sort of ISP router. And I wanted some more control over my network. At the moment, I have WireGuard. I use WireGuard on my Synology NAS to get inside the network. When I'm away, I use it, and I use it for stuff like I use my Synology for some of the things that I'm going to use this for, like DNS filtering and encrypted DNS forwarding and stuff like that. So I've bought this. Now this is the one. There is another model of this. I think it's the WR3000, the version 1. Now I wouldn't recommend that because it's only got 16 MB of flash, so you'll be limited on the packages you can install. I've never actually used this router, so I'm talking about like if you flash with OpenWRT. This is what I understand. If you flash it, because you can flash these with OpenWRT, so. And then you can install your own packages. I don't know if you can install packages on their native operating system. I have no idea. I'll find out in a minute. I hope you can. That would be interesting. But yeah, so I've heard good things about these routers. They come at a decent price point. This was, I think this was £50, £60. It's got Wi-Fi 6. It's got built-in support for WireGuard, zero-tier VPN, which is a layer 2 VPN, IPsec, L2TP, PPTP. It's got dual-core, 1.3 GHz Cortex A53 CPU, 5 gigabit ports, DNS encryption there it says as well, which is good. Yeah, so this is kind of. You wouldn't want less than this in 2025, right? You wouldn't want a Wi-Fi 5 router. But also, you kind of don't need a Wi-Fi 7 router, in my opinion, because you'll need the client devices that support Wi-Fi 7. And in my case, I'm using MacBook M1 series. I have MacBook M1s, and they don't support Wi-Fi 7. I'm not sure which MacBooks do. It's possible they do now, but I'm not sure. But a lot of stuff only supports Wi-Fi 6 anyway. And even when you do have Wi-Fi 7, do you have an internet connection that can use that amount of bandwidth? Do you have, do you need that on a home network? Most people probably don't. But anyway, I'm gonna unbox this first. I'll show you what's inside. It comes with the router, obviously. And there's the antennas sticking out there. Try and get that off there. Oops. Kind of tricky to get that off without ripping it. There we are. So there it is, yep. It's got this plastic layer on top. So, you've got your LEDs there. And you've got your gigabit LAN ports there and a WAN port, and power, WPS, and reset. And the information on the back, default settings and IPs and whatnot. Yeah, so you can twist these about, and I've never actually had a Wi-Fi router with these aerials on. It's interesting. But yeah, so you get the router, you get power supply, and you get network cable. I assume that's gigabit cable, Cat 6 or something. Yeah, Cat 5e. And their product list, quick installation guide, and yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna not read this guide and go ahead and set it up. I don't need a guide. I hope I don't need a guide. That could be, we'll see. So here is my new Cudy or Cudy router. And here is my old, I'm with Vodafone, this is their default router. So the Vodafone router isn't as good, and it's a lot bigger as well, which is interesting. So I'm gonna plug this in and get this set up, get it into my switch and my NAS and everything else onto my network. So once the router is all connected, you can go ahead and connect to it. You don't need a wired connection to set these up, so you can do it wirelessly. So you go ahead, connect to the Wi-Fi network, you enter the default Wi-Fi password, which is on the back of the unit, and then you can go ahead and begin the setup process. So it'll ask you for the password, and then you will go through like a wizard that will ask you to set up your WAN connection, your internet connection. So you can, in my case, I use PPOE, and you'll need to get the details from your provider. So guys, I've had some time to set it up, and yeah, there were a few issues that I've run into. So I'm with Vodafone UK, and I've had some problems with the IPv6. Now I did eventually get it working, and I'm going to show you how. So to get IPv6 working, you need to go to Advanced Settings, IPv6, and set connection type to DS Lite, dual stack Lite, and then save and apply. And then very importantly, you then need to reboot the router because it won't work unless you reboot. If you just set the IPv6 and then set it to DS Lite and then check your connection, it will just keep on failing. You have to actually reboot it, and I think it's the same when you disable it as well. The connection will just fail. So you have to reboot it when you change the IPv6. Once you do that, then it starts working again, and you should get IPv6 allocation automatically. You don't have to do anything beyond that. Yeah, so far my opinion of the admin interface is that it's not great, to be honest. Like, the interface I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a huge fan of this interface. I don't like it personally. I don't like the lack of there's less information here in a way than my stock ISP router. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of the interface, but it is more powerful. Like having this router is more powerful, of course. And there's just a whole bunch of options that you don't have on a stock router. But in my case, I'm definitely going to flash OpenWRT on this. I don't think I want to run the Cudy the Cudy version, even though Cudy, this actually is OpenWRT, like you can tell by the address, so Lucy there. But yeah, I'm not gonna run their system. I'm gonna install OpenWRT so that I can install my own packages. Cudy do offer a mobile app with their routers, and you can log in, you can do local management or you can do cloud management, and it will show you, you know, the list of ports being used, the speeds, all these different things, your MAC addresses, IPs, etc., all the usual stuff. And you'll have the ability to configure a few different things. You can configure not quite as much as you can on the web interface, but in my opinion, the mobile app is actually better designed, so I will give them that. Even though I don't like the web interface that they offer, the mobile app is actually fairly decent. As far as performance goes,
The Vodafone router, which is my ISP's default router, got an average speed test result. On the download, it got around 148 megabits a second, and on the upload, it got around 18 megabits a second. Now, the Cudy got 150 megabits average, so that's around 2 megabits higher. And on the upload, it got 28.6 megabits a second on the upload. So that's a whole 10 megabits higher on the upload. I'm not quite sure why it's that much better on the upload. There's a very small difference on the download, but there's a massive difference on the upload. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not aware of any reason why that would be. For some reason, the Cudy is just much faster on uploads. That's on my public internet connection. In terms of the speed on my internal network, I tested IPv6 against my NAS. And on the ISP router, I got 517 megabits a second on send, and I got 640 megabits a second send on the Cudy. So again, that's quite a significant difference for the Cudy. And again, on IPv6 on receive, I got 515 megabits a second. And on the Cudy, I got 638 megabits a second. So again, fair improvement on the Cudy, which I was actually surprised by. I didn't expect this much a performance increase. I expected maybe a very small amount, but it's actually much larger than I expected. And yeah, I'm quite impressed by that. So that will be all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video where I will flash open WRT onto this device.